In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. To see if you call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of a short story through to the line edits of a full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you and your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want prices, never pill pharmacy prices again. Less than $3. 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment. Reduce your payments by 30 to 50% and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree-hugging, hippie, free-to-be, you-and-me types exit the facility immediately. Thank you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks, well, good evening. It is Monday, and unlike usual Monday nights, I am not coming to you live from K98 Talk. I'm actually coming to you from my new home, KLRN Radio, otherwise known as KLRN DB. It is an officially registered digital broadcast radio station, and we launched officially today. So one of the things I wanted to talk about for a little bit is what that means for the Spark Radio Network and the shows that are already here. Now there has been a decision made to cease carrying one show. That would be the Rod Eccles show. It's nothing personal with Rod, but lately his show has been inconsistent and he doesn't seem to have a functional website of his own any longer. So it makes it really hard for me to help promote and push folks to his show, so we have made the decision to stop carrying that one. Other than that, everyone who's been with us pretty much since the inception of the original concept, K98 Talk, actually made the transition. So for those of you who enjoyed listening to the shows on K98 Talk, don't fret. K98 Talk still exists, we're just not there anymore. But all of the shows that you have come to know and love over the last 4 years have come over here to our new home, KLRN Radio. So you may be asking what that means. Well, for those of you listening to the sound of my voice, if you haven't gone there yet, you may want to go check out klrnradio.com. You'll find great new digs, all kinds of new features. You'll notice on the front page we have shows that are featured as our top-rated shows for the month that will rotate through on the home page. We also have a brand new chat room especially designed to be more eye-popping and eye-grabbing, and all kinds of other nice new features that we'll be rolling out. Soon we will have a mailing list, so folks that want to keep up with the newsletter that we're about to start putting out will be able to sign up for that soon enough, and all kinds of other interesting things that it means for the station. It also means that yours truly, since I technically was supposed to be a partner at K98 Talk, but it never really actually worked out that way. I did most of the work, and then basically every time I turned around, the guy that owned the brand name basically told me what I could do, when I could do it, and how I could do it. Now, I don't want to make it sound like he was being a jerk or anything, but because that's not really that's not what it was. He's just very opinionated and pretty much wanted things a certain way, and sometimes we disagreed to the point where I just kind of felt like it was time for me to move on. And I was approached by an investor who helped me make KLRN Radio happen, and that's where we're going to stay, hopefully for as long as I have internet and electricity and all the things that I need to make these type of things happen on a daily basis. But, nobody's promised tomorrow, so we'll see. Now, what does that mean for this show? Well, it means that I have a little more freedom and latitude than I did at the other station, so things are going to be changing a little bit here. Mainly because over this election cycle, I've made some rather disturbing discoveries. I have pretty much come to understand that everything that I had subconsciously kind of understood about how the elections worked and how it was all kind of a shell game, and basically they want you looking one direction while they do something else, is a lot more accurate than I realized. And I don't know if it's always been that way or if it's just been accelerated over these last couple of cycles, but it is really evident and apparent now. So one of the things that I will be doing on a more regular basis is basically, there's no other way to put it, I'm officially at war with both of the primary parties, because neither one of them represents me, neither one of them represents the majority of the American people. They just like to pretend they do. And what can I say? I'm used to taking fire from all sides, and I'm not afraid to do it. So, with that in mind, America Off the Rails will be changing focus a little bit. Up until now, we've been primarily, Republican cheerleaders. Republicans are the way to go. They're the most conservative party. Yada yada yada. Simple fact of the matter is that's not true anymore. If you want to get really truthful and honest about it, conservatism actually doesn't have a home anymore. The Democrats don't want conservatives for sure. Now apparently the Republicans don't want conservatives unless they're the kind of conservatives that think Trump is a good idea. And I'm sorry, you guys that are still left in the GOP, you can have as much Trump all the time as you want. I'm not down for that. And I'm done pulling punches about it either, because I don't have the restrictions in some ways that I felt I had with the other station, because there was always somebody looking over my shoulder going, what are you doing to this brand? Never mind the fact that I built it. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there at this point. Just wanted to let you know that some things will be changing. Some things are going to be remaining the same. I'll still be the guy that calls it as I see it. Sometimes I'll make mistakes. I'll admit to you when I make them, just like I always have before. Kind of like when I started out supporting Trump and woke up one day and said, hey folks, I'm just a guy over here on the radio, but I'm telling you, I made a mistake when I thought that this guy was a good idea. The nice thing is it's recorded, so you can go back and listen to it over and over again when I admit I make mistakes. Surprised my wife hasn't started recording them yet, or pulling them out and putting them into a compilation yet, but she might be listening, so let's not give her any ideas. Okay, so some things that haven't changed. Same affiliates, AMFM247.com. Also have Red Nation Rising Radio, the Liberty Channel. Unfortunately, for about the first month, I was under the mistaken impression that I was on the Justice Channel. Apparently, I'm on the Liberty Channel. Red Nation Rising Radio is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 Eastern. Hang on, I think I said that wrong. AMFM 24/7, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 Eastern. Red Nation Rising Radio is every day, I believe, at 4 Eastern. Then we still have SHR Media on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, running at 11 Eastern. And that pretty much sums it up for now. I've actually separated from WNJC. Differences of opinion, and I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. Most everybody that is on the the conservative side of the aisle at this point is really trying to rally around Trump, and I'm starting to feel all of this pressure from all these different places that if I'm going to continue to try to be a conservative voice on the radio, I have to conform, or they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. I don't care. I didn't start this to win friends and influence people. I started this to make a difference, and I'm going to make a difference even if it's just in my little corner of the world. That's one of the things that I've been trying to tell you guys all along. Get off the remote, put down the couch, wake up and find a way to get involved wasn't a rallying cry to go out into the greater world and make a difference. It was a rallying cry to get you involved in your local community. This is where we're losing touch. This is where things still matter, is in your sphere of influence. You should be doing everything that you can every single day to show people why your belief system is the best belief system. Even if you disagree with me, that should be what your driving point is every single day. But it doesn't change the fact that most people are too afraid, intimidated, or just plain think everybody will think they're crazy to actually do that type of thing. But the truth of it is, folks, we have got to do something. Because at this point, we're about to hand the presidency over to two of the craziest people that I think I've ever seen in my life. Neither one of them is fit to be the president, and I'm honestly not that impressed with the libertarian choice either. But what choice do I have? You know, there was a meme today that I saw that I wish I had made a copy of. But it basically went through the different checklist of all the different things between Johnson, Clinton, and Trump. And a couple of things about Trump kind of made me laugh a little bit. First of all, he's going to cut all government funding for space exploration. Look, I'm as big a fan for private space exploration as the next guy, but I think the government funding still needs to play a role too. Maybe a smaller role, but still a role. Also, he's pro-life. This is the same guy that was defending Planned Parenthood around the same time that all the horrible stories came out about the body part selling and everything else, and started talking about what a wonderful job they do. Not to mention, he also, in years earlier, when he was with a girlfriend of his and found out that she was pregnant, had asked how she was going to take care of that. Everybody knows what that means. You know, and don't get me wrong, folks, I know people can change. I understand people can change. I tried to give Trump the benefit of the doubt as to possibly changing. But the thing with it is, Trump changes every 30 seconds. Changes his mind, changes his opinion, changes his position. Every 30 seconds, it's a new position. Some of these positions have downright gotten him in trouble. One of them that we're going to talk about that will probably take quite a bit of the first half of the show is this recent issue with the father of the deceased Muslim soldier who spoke at the Democratic National Convention. Now, we've got a clip that's going to run for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then I have a clip of Trump's response.
Tonight we are honored to stand here as parents of Captain Humayun Khan and as patriotic American Muslims. If it was up to Donald Trump, he never would have been in America. Have you even read the United States Constitution? I will gladly lend you my copy. In this document, look for the words liberty and equal protection of law.
All right, so I want to talk about just that little segment right there, because the one part that everybody calls into question is whether or not Trump would have allowed his son into the country. If you take Trump's original rhetoric about how he was going to build a wall and pretty much keep all Muslims out until we knew what was going on, then it is a logical assumption that most likely that man would not have been in the country if they had tried to come into the country at a time when Donald Trump was president. Now you can say that the DNC was trying to politicize the guy. You can say that he shouldn't have gotten up and said what he said. But let me tell you something. You don't understand what that man may be feeling like, to have someone who is about to possibly be the president of the United States, and your son laid down his life for not only the father, but the entire country, and even that man, to know that if it were up to him, there would be a wall keeping every single Muslim out of the country. Let that sink in for a second, because, one of the things that I've figured out over the last couple of years of getting really involved in this stuff anymore, we don't allow ourselves to feel empathy for anyone that we disagree with anymore. It makes it so much easier to hate them because we don't put ourselves in their shoes. We don't want to understand what they're going through because they're so much different than we are. That has got to change. This election cycle has shown me in so many different ways, all of the different ways that both parties have taken us in completely the wrong direction. Because the Democrats want to label us separatists, break us into categories, and now the Republicans are doing the same damn thing. Now anymore, at this point, if you don't believe Trump's the right man, then you can't be a conservative as far as they're concerned. Doesn't matter that this country was founded on the ability to disagree with your leadership, and that's part of the reason why we went to war in the first place, was we felt we weren't being properly represented. If what's going on in our government today is not an example of completely improper representation, then I don't know what is. My problem with that is if you think Donald Trump's going to be the guy to fix that, then you're really not paying attention to what's been going on right in front of you all along. The simple fact of the matter is both parties are broken. Neither one of them give a damn what happens to you or I or anyone that isn't part of their donor base or their hang on. Sorry, got a bit of feedback in my headset there. All right, so they don't care about anything that happens to you or I, or they don't care about anybody that's not a lobbyist or isn't already in their pocket somehow, or vice versa. And the simple fact of the matter is everyone who thinks that putting Trump at the head of this mess is a great idea, let's not forget he's the one that paid a lot of money into the pockets of a lot of these different politicians over the last few years. So when he becomes president, he's going to feel like he's owed quite a few favors. Let's wonder with his ego the type of favors that he's going to be doing. And if you're wondering why it is that I'm so worried about Donald Trump, let's fire up the Wayback Machine for a second and hear something else in his words, and then we'll actually, you know what? No, let's do this first, then we'll move on to that. I forgot. Hang on. Sorry, I know I'm driving you crazy, Mr. Producer. Here we go.
There was a man named Kaiser Khan speaking at the Democratic Convention. His son, Captain Humayun Khan, was killed serving in Iraq, and he had some very tough questions for you. He said you wouldn't have even let his son in America.
He doesn't know that. I saw him. He was, very emotional and probably looked like a nice guy to me. His wife, if you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say. You tell me, but plenty of people have written that. She was extremely quiet, and it looked like she had nothing to say. A lot of people have said that. And personally, I watched him. I wish him the best of luck, George.
What would you say to that, Father?
Well, I'd say we've had a lot of problems with radical Islamic terrorism. That's what I'd say. We have a lot of problems where you look at San Bernardino, you look at Orlando, you look at the World Trade Center, you look at so many different things. You look at what happened to the priest over the weekend in Paris where his throat was cut, 85-year-old beloved Catholic priest. You look at what happened in Nice, France a couple of weeks ago. I'd say you got to take a look at that because something's going on and it's not good.
He said you have sacrificed nothing and no one.
Well, that sounds, who wrote that? Did Hillary's script writers write it?
How would you answer that, Father? What sacrifice have you made for your country?
I think I made a lot of sacrifices. I work very, very hard. I've created thousands and thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs. I think
those
I've
are
done a lot.
sacrifices?
Oh, sure, I think they're sacrifices. I think when I can employ thousands and thousands of people, take care of their education, take care of so many things, even in military. I mean, I was very responsible, along with a group of people, for getting the Vietnam Memorial built in downtown Manhattan, which to this day people thank me for. I raised, and I have raised, millions of dollars for the vets. I'm helping the vets a lot. I think my popularity with the vets is through the roof.
Alright, so that's pretty much the end of that clip. Now, I just want you to let some of that sink in, because the simple fact of the matter is, what the man said at the convention was not untrue. Donald Trump can say it is all that he wants, but it doesn't change the fact that the simple fact of the matter is, if Donald Trump had his way, those people likely wouldn't be in the country. Now, I've heard little bits and pieces that I haven't been able to confirm, that the father may or may not have connections into some not-so-good things like the Muslim Brotherhood, etc. If I can find that information, I will bring it to the forefront, but so far I haven't been able to find any real record of it, other than some people that I know mentioning it in passing, with no links. Until I can see proof of that, I'm going to hold him at face value, because he's the one who lost his son. And for Donald Trump, don't get me wrong, because I know what he was trying to do, but for Donald Trump to take the death of a son and compare it to all of the jobs and everything else that Donald Trump has supposedly created, etc., is a completely asinine thing to do. Let me tell you what someone who is running for the President of the United States should have said to a grieving father who maybe was reacting out of anger, but who could blame him? If this was a country like Africa, and we were the ones that all of a sudden everybody was, well, the white man shouldn't be over here, we need to build a wall to keep them out, etc. How mad would you be if you had done everything that you could to assimilate to that country, had a son who fought to save that country and died to save that country, and then you listen to someone telling you that, well, if it was up to them, your son wouldn't have been here, and neither would you, because we're going to build a wall. And you tell me he doesn't have grounds to be angry? I disagree. Not only do I disagree, I completely disagree. Now, that being said, again, I know what Trump was trying to say when he started trying to point out what he thought were valid comparisons. Because, look, everybody makes sacrifices every single day. But don't start comparing your sacrifices to the death of a child who didn't just die of natural causes. The man died in battle. And that's the part that I don't think anybody understands, and this person will remain nameless, but I saw them all day on Twitter talking about how just because a soldier dies in battle does not make them a hero. By definition, it makes them a soldier. And again, they're going to remain nameless, but that is a completely insane argument to make. Because I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell everyone. Anyone who willingly takes upon themselves a job that requires that they put themselves in harm's way every single day, knowing that at some point they may have signed on a dotted line to put into play a check up to and including everything in their life, and they still do it every single day, sometimes with little gratitude, little respect, and a lot of issues and a lot of blowback, that makes them a hero. The man was a hero before he died. Because he did something that so few of us will ever do. And for people that don't understand that, I want to remind you that while Donald Trump is talking smack about this man and what he said, Donald Trump had how many deferments? And was talking about how, well, I have a lot of military experience. He was in a rich academy. I felt like I was getting a lot of the training that the military go through, so sometimes I feel like I'm part of the military. Really? And I know my Trump sounds a lot like Gomer Pyle, but it's the best I can do. And honestly, other than the New York accent versus the Southern accent, there's really not much difference. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, that was wrong of me. That was bad, but it's still true. All right, so on that note, when we come back, we've still got about half the show left, but we're already to the bottom of the hour. My, oh my, where does the time go? All right, folks, this is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We will be back in just a few minutes.
For our own cause, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all the laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, bless you, pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause it's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect, and fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to the place.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live already into the last half hour of the show. My, oh my, where does the time go? All right, so as you know, we've made the announcement. We've been messing around with it, hitting around with it for a few days. Just as a reminder, that does mean that if you decide to send an email to me, the way you can email me has actually changed. You should email me now at rick@klrnradio.com. All right, and also, just as a reminder, we've been talking about a lot of different things today, all in regards to the fact that conservatism doesn't really have a true home now, thanks to Lord Cheesy Poof. Now, I have been working with a small group of folks, and I'm sure at this point there are probably small groups of folks a lot like us all around the country that are all having the same idea, and that is that conservatism needs a new home. Look, the simple fact of the matter is, apparently we don't necessarily belong here anymore. At least if you listen to the folks that are currently in charge, and at this point I have a sneaking suspicion this election cycle will be termed the election cycle that the inmates began to run the asylum, because we're trying to put crazy people in charge of the country. As a matter of fact, I am so sure that this election cycle is going to be completely crazy. I'm pretty sure that in about 30 years, when they're teaching history, it's going to be like, okay, folks, so today we're going to talk about 2015, and tomorrow when we come back to class, we got to talk about 2017, because 2015 through 2018 is going to be on the test, and we're going to cover the 2018 on Friday. And everybody go like, hey, professor, what happened to 2016? We just don't talk about 2016. We just don't. It never happened. And the sad thing is, it's probably more true than anybody honestly wants to know. Speaking of things that are more true than anybody honestly wants to know, an interesting thing happened today. Mr. I only hire the best people, apparently so he can fire them later, actually let go of someone today. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump on Monday, aka today, fired senior advisor Ed Brookover, two sources close to his campaign said. The sources did not say why Brookover was fired. A statement from the Trump campaign confirmed Brookover had left. The campaign has parted ways with Ed, but we are thankful to him for his many contributions and appreciate his continued support, the Trump campaign said in a statement. So just remember, folks, the guy that is telling America that he only hires the best people, and he's going to be the one that's going to be able to tell everybody what we need to do and how he's going to be able to get it fixed, because he only hires the best people and he's going to listen to them. First of all, doesn't listen to any of them, and then eventually fires them. But let's not forget something that Donald Trump said that I still think we should be playing more often than we do, but it kind of ties in with the whole I only hire the best people. This is a gem from about 2 months ago. Give it a listen.
You become very successful. The people that you will like best are the people that are less successful than you. Because when you go to a table, you can tell them all these wonderful stories and they'll sit back and listen. Does that make sense to you? Okay?
No.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Always be around unsuccessful people because everybody will respect you. Do you understand that?
So the guy on one hand who's telling everybody that he only hires the best people is also telling everyone else in private circles that he prefers to be around people that are less successful than him because it makes him feel better. So I don't know. I mean, which Trump are we supposed to believe? And before anybody gets me started or thinks that I'm being too hard on Trump, tomorrow night we're focusing on, or not tomorrow night, tomorrow night, because we will be live first on Jen and Rick, and then again live right here on America Off the Rails. So tomorrow night on America Off the Rails, we're going to be focusing on Miss Clinton. Because like I said, I'm at war with both parties. I'm still going to start off my very first show on my very new home making fun of Lord Cheesy Poof because it's what I do and it's how I roll. But tomorrow night, it is Hildebeest's turn, and we're going to take apart some of the things that she said during the DNC. We're going to talk about some of the things that she said after the DNC. We're going to talk about the fact that she basically admitted that she should have done things differently than she did with Benghazi. But, nobody's really going to talk about that because they have to have a coronation at some point, and she's going to be the queen of the universe. All right, so other interesting little tidbit in the news today. Did you know that Michael Savage was temporarily blocked on Facebook? I don't think it's been released yet, but apparently Facebook has temporarily blocked talk radio host Michael Savage from posting stories to his page after he put up a link to a story about a Muslim migrant killing a pregnant woman in Germany. A message from the social media giant on Savage page says, "You recently posted something that violates Facebook policies, so you are temporarily blocked from using the feature." This message then refers the user to Facebook's community standards and states the block will be active for 21 hours. So let me see if I understand this correctly. Facebook, which is a commercial platform now, is openly traded on the stock market, actually banned a really successful conservative talk show host because they disagreed with one of the pictures that he posted. What exactly happened to free speech? And I have to admit, remember, I've told you this before, but I'm going to tell it to you again because I'm sure that now that we're at the new station, we probably are getting some folks that may not have listened to the show before. But the concept of free speech is honestly a really hard one to learn, and I actually didn't fully understand it and how it should work until we started one of the original Facebook pages that launched everything that you see now today. One of them, and it still exists, it's just under a new name, it's now called Common Ground. It's actually the Facebook page that launched it all, because it started out as Wobbles and Nubs Present My 2 Cents, a little jab on me and the other original admin, because I have a bit of a limp and he has no right hand. So it was just, we always found ways to make fun of each other, so it was only fitting. And then we realized that My 2 Cents was kind of being used everywhere, and I was like, well, if we're going to ever try to do anything commercially with it, we should probably find another name. And then Common Ground was born, and then it eventually became Finding Common Ground, which is now the show that we run on Saturdays. And then, of course, after about 3 months of hanging out with Dave on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I think was when we did it, when we actually expanded that show originally, I decided I had to do a show of my own, and then America Off the Rails was born, and it took off like a rocket. It's now been syndicated all over the place, had some time on terrestrial stations, currently being looked at by other terrestrial stations that I'm hoping at some point we can make the jump there. And then, of course, now we're over here on KLRN radio.com. But all of this goes back to free speech. Because one of the first things I wanted to do anytime anybody annoyed the crap out of me, and trust me, it was often on the Facebook page, was drop the ban hammer. Everybody knows what the ban hammer is. If you spent any time on Twitter or Facebook, somebody says something you don't like, boom, you're gone, you're out, you're muted, you're blocked. I don't have to see your stuff anymore. Don't have to hear from you. Well, it was Dave that kind of pointed out, especially with an idea like the original concept of the page that we had, that banning people that disagreed with me was probably a bad idea, because then if he banned the people that disagreed with him, it would just be us talking to ourselves and it really wouldn't get anywhere. And not only that, but since when is banning actually a part of free speech? People have the ability to say whatever they want. God gave them that ability. They have the right to say whatever they want according to our Constitution, but you don't necessarily have to listen to it. But when does it become an overreach for a government or a company to decide that they're going to censor what you say? Now, I understand the decency laws, everything else. I personally at this point really don't think those type of things are necessary. But when is free speech free speech? Michael Savage was reporting on a story, and yet it was blocked. Now, this all goes back to the original story that we were talking about earlier, because again, I was one of those folks that used to react out of fear when it comes to Muslims. You can go back and listen to some of the original shows that we did over on Blog Talk Radio. Some of the shows for America Off the Rails are even over there, and you can hear me talking about how much I distrusted Muslims as a whole because of the concept of taqiyya. And the fact that according to their own scriptures, they are able to lie if it is to keep themselves safe. I have a problem with that, because that means that in theory you're not really ever going to know who's being honest with you and who's not. But you can judge the truth of it not by what they say but by their actions. The fact that that man was standing up in front of everyone at the DNC and saying what was in his heart, and the fact that the only thing that anybody could really do about that was make fun of the fact that the mother didn't say anything. I don't know if any of you have ever given speeches. I mean, I talk to, even on the radio at this point, it's basically no different than giving speeches. I talk to hundreds of people a day. I get butterflies every time I turn on the mic. If I'm standing in front of a crowd in a room, it's even worse. Even a small crowd. Was part of a seminar at the day job a couple months ago. Had to give a speech in front of 20 people. I was more nervous than when I was on WNJC and knew that thousands of people were listening to me in that little room with 20 people. I can imagine what she felt like standing on that stage. I can imagine what she felt like, what she was already going through, how what her husband had said had probably brought all these memories about the child that came from her, that they created together, that came from her and was ultimately killed in the line of duty. And she was probably reliving all of that while she was standing on that stage, listening to her husband talk about their son and how Donald Trump had no idea what it actually means to be an American if you're an American from another country. And instead, because she didn't say anything, she just didn't say anything because she's Muslim. They're not, the women that are Muslim, they're not allowed to talk. Even if that were true, why would you say that? And again, free speech. So yes, Donald Trump can say whatever he wants to say whenever he wants to say it, but I'm free to call him out when he acts like an ass. Sadly, I'm doing a lot of calling out because he never really stops acting like an ass. Now, the part that I want all of you to understand here is, again, one of the things that has taken me many, many years to understand. Everyone in this country that was born as an American citizen has the same rights as everyone else. And honestly, if you read our Declaration of Independence, it doesn't say anything about all men in America are created equally. Not what it says. So I can understand why some people take it to the point where they think that we should be extending those same rights and courtesies to everyone else. But I also understand that there are times when we are going to have to find a way to make sure that we ourselves remain safe. But telling an entire... And look, it would be different if you had said Iranians or Iraqis or Spaniards or whatever. But to ban an entire group of people based on their religion? Now, I just want this to sink in for a second, because all of the conservatives right now that are up in arms over Facebook banning Michael Savage for something that he said, we're talking about allowing a potential president of the United States to ban an entire religion based on the actions of a few. Now, I understand few might not be an accurate representation because there are, 1.3 billion Muslims, and it's estimated that anywhere from 10 to 20% are extremist. So, I mean, we're talking about a lot of people. So by a few, I don't want to give you the wrong idea, because I understand the numbers and I understand the severity. But you're talking about banning an entire religion from being able to enter our country. I'm sorry, I don't see that as being constitutional. And that's why even now he's starting to try to walk it back a little bit and saying the ban is going to be, pardon me, frog in my throat, the ban is going to be based on territories, not religion. And again, everybody talks about, well, Jimmy Carter banned all these people from coming over and nobody said anything about it being racist then. Well, no, but he didn't segment an entire religious group and say, none of you can come over here until we figure out what's going on. I mean, look, I understand. I'm just as fearful as the rest of you. But that's not what this country was founded on. This country was not founded on fear. This country was not founded on this rampant hysteria that is running through both parties. This rise of the alt-right, the Black Lives Matter folks, and everything else. It's insane. And for those of you who don't think it's insane, I have a little clip that we're going to play on the way out the door here that I think you need to hear. Because it's one of the things that I have been saying over and over again with all these alt-right, Black Lives Matters, etc. Alt-right is now getting all the attention they need because they have managed to glom onto Donald Trump. The Black Lives Matter folks are getting all the attention that they need because they've managed to integrate themselves pretty heavily into the Democratic Party. But I want you to hear this.
Back. White media, get to the back. Black media, come to the front. White media, excuse me, you. Excuse me, sir. Somebody needs to tell this person to get to the back. Yo, somebody needs to tell these folks to get to the back. Don't mask up. We're not bringing.
Now, hang on. I want to stop this for a second. And actually, I'm going to start it over because I hit the wrong button. But I want to warn you, there is language here. So if you happen to be catching this on one of the affiliates and you have a kid anywhere near around you, you may want to turn the volume down for about the next 33 seconds.
Back. White media, get to the back. Black media, come to the front. White media, excuse me, you. Excuse me, sir. Somebody needs to tell this person to get to the back. Yo. Somebody needs to tell these folks to get to the back. Don't mask up. We're not British anarchist bullshit today. Get to the back or you will be out from this fucking march. We are not afraid to put people out. We are not afraid to put people out. White people to the back. Black people to the front. That includes media.
White people to the back. Black people to the front. So I want this to sink in because this is one of the things that has made me understand just how screwed we are. We have Black Lives Matter completely intertwined and entangled with the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. We have the alt-right movement completely entangled and enmeshed within the Donald Trump presidential campaign. So for the first time in any amount of time that I can ever remember, we have two completely distinct potential terrorist groups involved in presidential politics. Now, of course, the Black Lives Matter folks, yeah, they're getting preferential treatment by the DNC. You know, they had some of the moms speaking, they had all of this stuff going on, and then, of course, they were, white media or white people to the back, black people to the front, as if these people themselves had actually been the ones that had undergone the racist treatment of their parents or their grandparents and great-grandparents, etc. Never mind the fact that this was the country that ended slavery for the majority of the world. Never mind the fact that we were the ones as a country that bled, fought, and died to win those same people that are now trying to not only segregate themselves, but to now apparently segregate us. And I say us loosely because I'm not necessarily a white guy either. I'm completely Heinz 57. Got some Indian, some Polish, some Irish, etc. And apparently a little French. Wasn't aware of that until about 2 years ago, but apparently some French in there too. Somebody bring me some freedom fries. No, I'm just playing. All right, so, but I mean, look, at this point, folks, we're in trouble. we're in really serious trouble because we have the alt-right group that is gaining legitimacy thanks to the fact that it's managed to dovetail and hang on to the coattails of the Donald Trump presidency. He will not come out and openly deny them. He doesn't do anything to curtail them. We have the Black Lives Matter folks that are doing things like this, that are screaming for the death of cops, that for months now at protests have been using phrases like pigs on a blanket, fry 'em like bacon. And again, I understand it's free speech, but there's also a difference between free speech and hate speech. And the thing about it is, when you go from pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, to somebody actually shooting and targeting police officers, that's a problem for me. Very huge problem for me. A huge problem for me. Sorry, I had a Donald Trump moment there. Alright, so I think we've about beat all of the different topics over the head repeatedly enough for one night. It's about time for me to make my way out of here so we can get ready for the Rhino Report that will be up here in just a few minutes. Unfortunately, we kind of dropped the ball this afternoon because I got busy dealing with some other stuff, so it'll be a little bit delayed, but I will trip the server as soon as it comes on air. For anybody that wants to hang around, it'll probably be about 5 minutes or so before we get it onto the server. But on that note, folks, I am out for the night. This has been Rick Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, on our new home, KLRNradio.com. For any of you who've been listening, if you haven't had a chance to go check out the new digs, I do encourage you to do so. We also have a Twitter feed. You can like us on @KLRN Radio, or follow us. You can also like us on the Facebook page, KLRN Radio, the Facebook page. You can look that up there. And of course, like I tell you every time, you can always interact with me in whichever way is more comfortable for you. You can go find my America Off the Rails Facebook page. You can go to my professional Facebook page, which is just Rowdy Ricky Robinson. Pop that into the search bar; it'll pop right up. Or you can follow along on Twitter, which is still AOTR_host. A lot of things have changed, but a lot of things are still the same. And until I see you again, which should be tomorrow night, God willing, I'll be back live for a 2-hour stint, 1 hour of the Jen and Rick Show, and then again, America Off the Rails, and then, of course, the Rhino Report, right here on your new home for the best new media talk, KLRNradio.com. Have a great night, folks. Glad we made it through Monday. Look forward to talking to you on Tuesday.
Calls, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all the laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, bless you, pray to Jesus Christ. Tell you how it's gonna work, kids. You work hard like your parents both did. Everything you earn by breaking your backs, we're gonna redistribute when we make our pay tax. Hey, sit down.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.